Good evening, everyone. My name is Sunil, and let me give a brief introduction about myself. I'm a working SAP consultant and, solution architect and a manager. And I've been in the SAP world for the past 15 plus years. I have started my career as an ABAPer and then SAP BW, SAP ABAP, object-oriented programming, lot many things, portal, BPC,
I got it. Thank
BPC, and all these areas. So right now I work as a solution consultant, HANA, and then BW and HANA. I'm a HANA certified consultant, BW certified consultant. So coming to the training perspective, I've been training for the last more than 4 years. Okay, and I train only during weekends, sometimes during weekdays, depending upon my convenience. Okay, since I'm a working consultant, I prefer to take the classes on a weekend, and this is going to be a weekend batch. Okay, that's about myself. Let me share my screen. All right, so let me know when, once you guys are able to see my screen. Somebody please give me confirmation that you guys can see the screen, either in the chat window or you can type it in the chat window or you can speak up. Can you guys see my screen? Anyone? Dinesh, can you see my screen?
Yes, Sunil.
All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, guys, let's get started with today's session, and feel free to ask any questions that you may have at any point in this particular demonstration. Okay, this demonstration is going to last for like probably 1.5 hours. I will be depending upon the number of questions I receive, this may extend a little bit. Okay. All right. So welcome to the HANA 1.0 SP9 training. All right. So what is the agenda for today? Agenda for today, I don't know what is the background of you guys. So I'm going to start with what is SAP, what is OLTP versus OLAP, what is SAP HANA. Okay, before knowing SAP HANA, we should know what is SAP. Obviously, without knowing SAP, you cannot go to what is SAP HANA. All right, once we know SAP, there are two types of systems, OLTP system and OLAP system. Okay, we should know what is OLTP and what is OLAP. So I'm going to give you a brief of OLTP and OLAP. Then we'll start what is SAP HANA. Okay, what is, how does SAP HANA look? Why do we need SAP HANA in today's world? Why SAP HANA is becoming so famous? If you go to any job site or job portal or Google, you'll see a lot of information, a lot of requirement for SAP HANA consultants, right? So why do we have so much requirement? Why do we have so much hype on SAP HANA? Okay, and then we'll see positioning of SAP HANA, how SAP HANA is positioned. What is it that we're going to learn? And then roles and responsibilities in a project. As a HANA consultant, as a HANA developer, modeler, what are going to be my responsibilities? Or if there is a BW and HANA project, what are going to be my roles and responsibilities, right? And then we will take a look at the course content and structure, and I will open up for any question and answer at the end of the session. But you guys don't have to wait till the end of the session for any questions and answers. So you can raise any question that you have during the course of this particular demonstration. Okay. So let's get started. First, I want to give you what is SAP, right? What is SAP? SAP stands for Systems, Applications, and Programming. All right. SAP stands for Systems, Applications, and Programming. Has anyone of you guys who are in this particular demonstration, have you guys worked on SAP, any type of SAP implementation or the support project? Just want to get an idea if someone has worked on SAP project. You can type it, in the chat window. All right, I'm not getting any response. I will assume some of you might have been working in the SAP. IMF.
Yes, Sunil.
Hey, who is this?
Sachin Gupta this side.
Hey, Sachin.
So I am having like more than 11 years experience in SAP ABAP side.
Wow. Okay.
So I've been to many implementation projects on those SAP perspective.
Cool. That definitely helps. All right. That's Sachin, and I see that Anurup. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Anurup he's a fresher to SAP world, so he has experience, but he doesn't have any experience in the SAP world. So just to assure you, this training is going to be at the grassroots level, meaning I will conduct the training in a way that I am teaching to a fresher. Okay, so some of you guys like Sachin, you may see that you may feel some of the things that I'm saying out in the training are repetitive for you, or you already know those things, but I have to go through that because so that it's for the understanding of those who do not have any knowledge about SAP. All right. So SAP stands for Systems, Applications, and Programming. Never ever pronounce this particular term as SAP. Okay. If you say SAP, then people will know that you do not have any experience in this world, SAP world. Okay. Because SAP, as you can see, it is called Systems, Applications, and Programming. Okay. These are three different words which make this phrase SAP. Okay. So it is not SAP. Never ever pronounce this as SAP. Okay. First and foremost thing. So now SAP stands for Systems, Applications, and Programming. SAP started like it's a ERP package. ERP package. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. Some of you guys may know about Enterprise Resource Planning. What is ERP, right? ERP is Enterprise Resource Planning. As the name itself says, it is a system. It's a system, right, that provides end-to-end support for daily activities of an organization. Okay, ERP system is a system that provides end-to-end support for daily activities of an organization. All right. So what does that mean? Let us see if within an organization there may be several departments. Let us say that we have an organization which is a product manufacturer. Okay, organization. Okay, which is a product or manufacturing organization. Okay, so in this case, obviously there is a department which will manufacture goods, produce goods, right? Produce goods. So once the goods are produced, they have to be sold. Say sell goods, right? Sell goods. And once we produce goods, once we sell goods, okay, we will have to do account. We have to report our sales and investments, right? That is part of accounting, right? And to produce goods, we need to procure several parts. Procure, right? So these are different departments within an organization in general, right? So in olden days, all these activities, production related activities, procurement related activities like purchase order or inbound delivery, all these things used to happen in on paper. Sell goods, so sales order, invoice, deliveries document, all these things used to happen on paper. A system that allows all these activities, a system that supports all these activities to be done electronically. Nowadays, today, today's world is electronic world. Most of the things happen online or electronically, right? So a system that supports all these different activities, day-to-day activities, meaning someone places a sales order for a product, right? And the system will determine whether the product is available or not, right? And then it sends it ships the product to the customer. All these activities are day-to-day activities of an organization, and the system that supports all these activities is called ERP system. Okay, and there are several ERP systems or packages, several products within ERP. Okay, so there are several products. Okay, some products cater to specific modules. Some products cater to all the modules. Simple example for you guys is Oracle Finance, Oracle Apps. Okay, Oracle Finance is an ERP package which is specific to finance and which is very famous for finance. Okay, SAP is such ERP package which caters to many such functional modules. For example, you name it like sales, procurement, finance, all right, planning, controlling. Finance and controlling go together. I'll say manufacturing. Okay, warehouse management. All right. So you take any particular module or functional area, SAP has a product for it. SAP has a product for it. Okay. So SAP is a general product, or it's a product which caters to so many different areas. For that reason, SAP is the market leader in ERP world. Okay. The reason I'm saying is, for example, a customer wants to implement an ERP product, install an ERP product that can handle sales today. Okay. So, or let's say he wants to install finance, so he goes with Oracle Finance. So in that case, what happens when he wants to implement sales part of it on an ERP system? The customer will have to look for another application or create custom applications, right? But if he goes with SAP, if the customer or if the end client goes with SAP, what happens? Today they are implementing SAP for finance. Tomorrow they want to implement sales, procurement, warehouse, manufacturing, planning, whatever it could be. You name the module, SAP has a product for that or a module for that. Okay, so the implementation can be staggered as per customer requirements, and since all these are SAP products or SAP modules, the interaction between these modules is seamless. Okay, meaning sales and finance, they work very closely with each other. All the sales, all the invoices have to hit finance. If you have Oracle Finance and SAP Sales, then the SAP Sales have to be converted in a way which is understandable by Oracle Finance, right? But if you have implemented finance here in SAP itself, because both of them are talking the same language, their communication or the data flow is seamless. Okay, that is the advantage of having SAP in an organization, and that is the reason why you'll see so many SAP implementations in the market. Okay, so that is the reason why SAP is global leader in ERP market. Okay, I don't want to talk about the percentage, and those things are available on the internet, but the point is SAP is global leader. In the last 15 years, I have gone through so many implementations. Initially, SAP started with targeting big clients, big customers who have huge amount of data, huge requirement, and all those things. Then mid-size organization, now small-scale organizations. So SAP caters to all type of organizations: large scale, medium scale, and small scale. All type of organizations. So for that purpose, SAP has expanded its market capitalization. Okay, SAP has expanded its market capitalization. So that is SAP, Systems, Applications and Programming. That is where SAP stands in the ERP market. Alright, now once we know about SAP, we should know what is OLTP and OLAP. OLTP and OLAP. There are two types of systems in SAP or any ERP package for that matter. An ERP package will always have two types of products. Okay, one is OLTP. The other type of products is called OLAP. OLAP. OLTP stands for Online Transaction Protocol or Programming, whereas OLAP stands for Online Analytic Protocol or Programming. Okay, analytic. So I'm really sorry about the spelling. Online Analytic Protocol or Programming. OLTP stands for Online Transaction Protocol or Programming. Okay, so any ERP system will have these type of two types of systems, OLTP and OLAP. So what is OLTP system? As the name itself says, it supports transactions. Meaning, let us say we have an organization which is into sales. Okay, which is into sales. Okay, and I, as Sunil, a customer, place an order for a product. I place an order. Okay, sales order. This sales order has to be created, right? This is what is happening. Current transaction. I'm calling or I'm going online to their portal and trying to create a sales order. That is a transaction. So a system that supports day-to-day transactions is called OLTP system. Okay. So for example, once I do this, once I put a sales order, system evaluates material availability, product availability, check. Okay, system does a product availability check, whether the product is available for me to ship. Okay, once the product is available, it ships the product to me. Ship the product to me. Okay, and then once the product is shipped, it will create a invoice. Or bill me for the product, right? Take any organization, for example, Amazon.com. Sunil placed the order at Amazon.com for a particular product. A sales order gets created. Product availability is checked, and then as soon as the product is available, the product is shipped out to Sunil, right? And then they charge me for the product. So these are different transactions that happen in this particular activity: sales order, shipment document, invoice, product availability check. Okay, all these things happen in real time. So a system that caters to this type of transactions is called OLTP system. Okay, real time activities are happening here, right? Real time activities, creation of sales orders, creation of invoices, shipment document. These are real time activities. These are happening in the OLTP system. Okay, whereas OLAP system is for, as the name itself says, used to analyze the data. okay, used to analyze the data. So how is the data looking? How is my sales for the last few years? Or how has this product sold over the last few months? How is the craze for this particular product? These kind of questions to be answered need some information for which data over a period of time has to be analyzed. Data over a period of time has to be analyzed, and the system that is used for this kind of analysis is called OLAP system. Okay, used to analyze data. All right, and this system is a system used for decision making and building strategies. Okay, so once I analyze my sales for the last few months or few years, whatever it could be, then I can say, okay, this product is not selling as I want. Okay, so I have to advertise it more, I have to push it more into the market so that this product goes into the market, or the sales of this product improves. I have to give more incentives to buy this particular product. Okay, these are decisions and strategies. Okay, so we need information. So this particular system, OLAP system, is used to provide information, which in turn can be used to make decisions and building strategies. All right, so that is OLAP system. There are some obviously some limitations of OLTP system and OLAP system. OLTP system, the data is always current. Meaning, what happened now? What happened yesterday? What happened, a month ago? How many orders has been placed? Okay, this kind of current information, last 6 months or 1 year information is available in the OLTP system. Whereas OLTP system does not store historical data. Okay, does not have historical data. Okay, so what happens? Historical data is archived. Data is archived. Put it in a backup drive. Okay, so whenever we need it, we will retrieve the data. All right, but here in the OLAP system, we store historical data. How much history we store? In general, 7 to 10 years. Okay, in general, 7 to 10 years worth of data, but that depends upon organization to organization. It is not an industry standard that we will store it for 7 to 10 years. I've seen customers who have stored for more than 10 years, who have stored for less than 7 years also. All right, so the data that is stored in the OLAP system varies, but it stores the historical data. All right, so that is the main difference between OLTP and OLAP system. All right, so now this particular system, if it goes down, huge implications if the system goes down. Okay, not high impact if the system goes down. Meaning, if the system goes down, OLTP system goes down, it has a huge implication. Meaning, all the transactions will come to a stop. Okay, the system organization will not be able to ship the products. Organization will not be able to procure the products. Okay, its finance will be halted. Finance transactions will be stalled. So many things will happen. So OLTP is a very critical system in any product, in any ERP product. Okay. Similarly, OLAP, which if it goes down, we can survive. If the information is not available right now, it can be retrieved tomorrow also. I can build the strategy tomorrow also. So OLAP system, we can have some amount of downtime, whereas OLTP system, we can never afford to have any downtime. So these are some of the differences or the characteristics which differentiate between OLTP and OLAP systems. Okay, there are much more. I will explain that during the regular training classes, but this is just an overview for you guys. Okay, what is an OLTP system? What is an OLAP system? Okay, now in SAP world, what are these OLTP and OLAP system? Okay, in SAP world, we have a system called ECC system, Enterprise Central Component. ECC, we call it as ECC. Okay, this particular ECC system is the OLTP system. OLTP system. Okay, and then SAP has one more type of system called SAP BW system. Stands for Business Warehouse. Okay, Business Warehouse. This is our SAP's OLAP system. Okay, so ECC is the SAP OLTP system. BW is SAP OLAP system. Okay, so the data, historical data is stored in BW system. So the data gets loaded from ECC to BW at regular intervals. Okay, and the information flows from ECC, which is the source system, into the BW system, and we run reports on BW system. Okay, we run reports on BW system, which will run on the BW system, which can be used for making decisions. These reports can be used for making decisions and strategies. This is the general architecture. This is OLAP system and the OLTP system. The data flows. OLTP is the transaction system where day-to-day activities take place. OLAP or BW system is the OLAP system which provides information using which we can build strategies. Okay, so this is in general SAP architecture, SAP systems architecture, and till now we have not come to SAP HANA. Correct? We have not come to SAP HANA. We have not seen so far what is SAP HANA. We just saw what is SAP, what is OLTP versus OLAP, and OLTP versus OLAP in terms of SAP world. Right? Any questions so far? Feel free to ask questions, at any point in time, even though I don't stop in between. Okay. So now let us come to what is SAP HANA. What is SAP HANA? SAP HANA stands for High Performance Analytics Appliance. SAP HANA. HANA stands for High Performance Analytic Appliance. Okay, High Performance Analytic Appliance. As the name itself says, I'm going to highlight this particular word, appliance. Okay, HANA is an appliance. Okay, HANA is an appliance. So you can ask the question like, I have read that HANA is a database. So what is HANA is a database? If you go to internet and if you read about HANA, then they say HANA database. HANA database can be used for ECC. HANA database can be used for BW. So you guys can ask me a question: is HANA a database? Then my answer will be yes. HANA equal to database plus more. Database plus more. Okay, HANA is nothing but database plus more. Okay, so HANA is called, it started as IMDB. Okay, IMDB, which is nothing but in-memory database. Okay, started as an IMDB. Okay, and then they added more features. As it evolved, they added more features. They bought over several other products, and they included those features of those products in this particular HANA database. Okay, and this resulted in HANA being an appliance. So when I say appliance, it is HANA hardware plus software. Appliance. Okay, so there is some amount of software or some amount of features that are built in HANA database which makes this database an appliance. Okay, so if somebody asks me whether HANA is a database, I'll say HANA is a database plus more. It's not just a database, it is an intelligent database. Okay, intelligent database. Okay, and what are the more features that are going to be included in this HANA which makes it fast? That I will explain that in the regular training course. So what are the more features that are included in the HANA database? Okay, but right now we should understand what is HANA, how SAP HANA is in the market, how it is available in the market, how it is proposed, what is the product strategy of SAP for SAP HANA, and all these things. Okay, so SAP HANA stands for High Performance Analysis Appliance. It's a in-memory data platform. They say platform or appliance, one and the same. Okay, that is developed as an on-premise appliance or in the cloud. What is on-premise appliance or cloud? Basically, you can have hardware which is sitting on your campus or premise, or it could be in the cloud. Okay, it is a revolutionary platform that's best suited for performing real-time analytics and developing and deploying real-time applications. Okay, so to understand what is in memory, okay, let us understand a functioning of a laptop. Okay, a laptop will have a CPU, central processing unit, right, which will have a specification of its own, which is the heart of a laptop, right? Let us say we open a browser, and we hit in the Google Chrome. Let's say Chrome is a browser, and we hit www.yahoo.com. Okay, let us say we hit this particular website. We want to see the data from this particular website. Okay, so this particular request is processed by the CPU, right? And there is hard drive in our laptop. I'll call it as hard disk drive. Okay, and there will be something called main memory or RAM, random access memory, right? You people might be aware of these terminologies. Okay, this is a hard drive, like we can say 1 terabyte of hard drive, and then 16 gigs of RAM or 32 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of RAM, depends upon the configuration varies. Okay, but it will have a hard disk drive and a memory, main memory, right? So when the Google Chrome requests for this particular website, okay, this information or the data from this website is stored somewhere in the internet in a DNS server, data naming server, DNS server. Okay, so this request, let us say from this CPU, the request goes to this DNS server. Okay, request. Then this particular DNS server retrieves the contents of this website and pushes it back to the CPU, and on the way it puts the data in the main memory. Okay, puts the data in the main memory, stages the data in the main memory, and then gives the data to the CPU, or the CPU passes the information to the Google Chrome. Right? This is the general way it happens. So Google Chrome sends a request for yahoo.com, goes to the DNS, the name is resolved and the content is returned to the main memory, and then through CPU it goes back to the Chrome. That is how we see the data. That is how we see the contents of yahoo.com, right? So now, next time if you go back to yahoo.com, okay, if you go back to, if another window, or you go to yahoo.com again after one day, the system, what it does is CPU sends the request to the main memory, checks if this data is, this content is already available in the main memory, right? If it is available, it returns the data from the main memory and sends it to the web browser, right? So that particular action where it retrieves data from the main memory and sends it to the browser is very fast, because the data is residing in the main memory, which is associated with the CPU, which is associated closely with the CPU. Okay, so for this purpose, the retrieval from the main memory, okay, is very fast. Retrieval of data or content from main memory is very fast. This data, the request does not travel all the way to DNS at all. It goes to main memory and comes back. Okay, so the travel time, the first time the data request travel time, okay, is large, is huge compared to the second time onwards, because the data from this website is stored here in the main memory. So the data that is being accessed by main memory is fast. Point number one. Point number two, hard disk drive. Okay, it is a mechanical device. Correct? Hard disk drive, HDD, is a mechanical device. It will have, it will have a read head and mechanical, motor and other things. It's a mechanical device. So once, let us say some information is stored in the hard drive. Let us say my passport information. Okay, passport information is stored in the hard drive. Okay, so I send a request, some application, some front-end application, third-party application, sends a request for passport information to the CPU. Okay, the CPU has to go to this particular hard drive and retrieve the data, right? And then the hard drive will return the data to this particular CPU, and CPU will send the information to the application. So application to CPU, CPU to hard drive to CPU, back to application. That is how the data retrieval process is. Okay, so in this process of request going into the hard drive is called input process. Okay, and the data going out of hard drive is called output process. Right? So altogether, this process is called I/O process. Input output process. Okay, for an application to read the data from hard drive, it has to go through something called I/O process, and the data is stored in the hard drive has to be retrieved by a mechanical device, right? Mechanical device. So it is time consuming. Okay, this I/O process, if the data volume is huge, for example, like the passport information is very small, if there's millions of data records that are stored in the hard drive, then the I/O process takes a long time. I/O process is a bottleneck, right? What if the same information is stored in the main memory? If it is stored in the main memory, the retrieval is very quick. Retrieval is very fast. Okay, so that is exactly what the thinking of SAP was when they came up with HANA. Okay, in this case, imagine HANA as main memory. Okay, imagine HANA as main memory. So we have a system and we have a traditional database. Okay, we have a traditional database. This traditional database is like hard drive. Traditional database is like hard drive. Okay, this traditional database is like a hard drive. So we have a system which is connecting with this particular traditional database, which could be Oracle, it could be Sybase, whatever it could be, right? But it's a traditional database. So what happens? Obviously, there is I/O bottleneck, I/O process bottleneck. I/O process has to happen, right? I/O process has to happen for the data to be retrieved, right? So the data retrieval process is huge here, or it takes longer time. Okay, so for this purpose, SAP has come up with a concept called HANA. HANA is a main memory database. It's a database which is main memory plus more. So replace this particular traditional database with SAP HANA database, which is like main memory. Okay, main memory. So the operations of main memory are very fast. Okay, and this is like a CPU. Okay, the interaction between the CPU and the main memory is very fast, right? The data retrieval process or the I/O bottleneck goes away. All right, so for that reason, SAP HANA becomes very fast. SAP HANA, the information processing from SAP HANA becomes very fast. Okay, that is the reason why SAP HANA is called an appliance, main memory appliance. Okay, the technology that allows the processing of massive quantities of real-time data in the main memory, of the server to provide immediate results from the analysis transactions. Okay, so basically the comparison is hard disk drive to main memory. Okay, that is what HANA database is, HANA appliance is. Okay, I should not be saying database anymore. It is in-memory appliance or main memory appliance. Okay, so is HANA the first main memory or in-memory applications by SAP? No, there were so many other applications before. Okay, to name a few, if you guys have worked in SAP BW world, then there is another piece of hardware called BW accelerator. Okay, there is another piece of hardware called BW accelerator. So if you guys know SAP BW system on any traditional database, okay, so if the SAP BW system is sitting on any traditional database, then for all the reasons that I told you before, the information processing used to be slow. Okay, for that purpose, SAP came up with another product, another hardware called BWA. It stands for BW accelerator. Okay, BW accelerator. So all the information that is stored in this traditional database would be pushed to BWA, and the information retrieval, request and retrieval would happen from BWA to the application layer, application server. It would not come here. So this is another main memory product or in-memory product, which included something called Trex search engine. We will talk about Trex search engine a little bit in detail in the class, regular class. Okay, so this BWA is one of the SAP's earlier in-memory product. Okay, similarly, Business Objects Explorer accelerated version. Okay, so there are many such: NetWeaver Enterprise Research, CRM Customer Segmentation, APO with Live Cache. Okay, all these are some of the earlier in-memory products by SAP. So SAP was not new to in-memory products. That is what you have to understand from here. Okay, so HANA is a successor of all these products. Okay, so what is SAP HANA? SAP HANA is an in-memory data platform that deploys as an on-premise or in the cloud. Okay, so real-time analytics to any kind of reporting tools. Okay, and SAP HANA is a database that can be used for a business suite or SAP business suite or any third-party system. Okay, any system for that matter, not just SAP system, any system. Okay, what do I mean to say? What do I mean by that? I have SAP ECC system, which is our transaction system, SAP BW system, and let's say I have a custom Java application system. Custom Java system. Okay, these are three types of systems I have in my organization, and HANA can be a database for this. SAP HANA can be a database for this. SAP HANA can be a database for BW, and SAP HANA can be a database for custom applications also. Okay, it can be a database for any type of application. That's what I mean. It's not just SAP systems. Okay, even non-SAP systems, any customer system also, they can have SAP HANA as a database. That is the best part of SAP HANA. Okay, so what is SAP HANA and why SAP HANA became so famous? Why SAP HANA became so famous? SAP HANA became famous because of both software and hardware innovations. Okay, both software and hardware innovations. Okay, so here as you can see, okay, multi-core CPUs, 10 cores per CPU. CPU is like, a central processing unit. So for one processor, you can have multiple cores. Okay, multiple CPU boards on one, multiple CPU boards on one board. You can have multiple CPUs. Okay, multiple server per board, multiple servers per board. Okay, so in this way, in hardware improvement in the hardware technology, improvement in the way chips are produced these days, boards are produced these days, right? Servers are produced these days. The massive memory setup becomes very easy. Meaning, I remember olden days wherein I used to get very minor pen drives, flash drives, right? These days you get flash drives of huge capacity, 512 gigs, 1 terabyte also, right? They are same size, but they have increased the memory capacity drastically, right? That is because of improvisation or innovations in hardware manufacturing, right? If you guys know about Apple MacBooks will come with flash memory these days, okay, and they go up to 512 gigs or 1 terabyte of flash memory in their MacBooks. That is because that kind of memory is available in such small piece, such small hardware. Okay, that is the hardware innovation or improvement in manufacturing the hardware. Point number one. Point number two, there is something called row store and column store. Okay, row store and column store. So in the traditional databases, traditional method of storing data, organizing data, the data was organized in a row store. Okay, but SAP HANA implements our data in a column store also. It can store the data in column store or row store. All right, so I'll explain more about row store and column store in the training class when I start the training class. But this is one of the software optimization, software side optimization, because of which SAP HANA becomes very famous. Okay, SAP HANA becomes very famous. SAP HANA is so fast because of both hardware innovations or improvement in hardware manufacturing side and the data storing and retrieval methodologies, software side optimization also, not just hardware. Okay, why SAP HANA? So in today's world, the market is very competitive. The market is very competitive. So as you can see, the different parts of an organization, different modules of an organization have to work in tandem in real time to be to have an edge over its competitor in this particular market, right? So the speed of data retrieval, the speed of analytics makes a lot of difference. Meaning, I have an organization and I am trying to analyze the data, my sales data, and if my competitor can analyze this faster than me, then the competitor will be able to come up with a better strategy than me. So I'm losing an edge here, right? So this is a cutthroat market, and the speed of data and information availability, the speed and the correctness of the data that we get from the system becomes very, very important in this market. Okay, for that purpose, SAP HANA is best suited in today's world because it is very fast, because it is in main memory, the data stores in main memory, so the retrieval is very fast. Okay, the data storing also becomes very fast because of a feature that has been included in HANA database. Okay, so the data storage and retrieval becomes very fast. Okay, that is why SAP HANA is needed in today's world. All right, so why SAP HANA? So I explained this to you guys a minute ago. So hardware and software, input-output process, I/O process. So this slide depicts that I/O process performance bottleneck in the past, disk input-output operation. Okay, this was the bottleneck in the past. Okay, so performance bottleneck today is the main memory, the size of main memory. Okay, the main memory was limited, so the size of main memory was the limitation, because much data could not be, huge amounts of data could not be stored in the main memory. That was the limitation. So with the hardware and software side innovation, with SAP HANA coming into picture, we have eliminated the limitation of main memory. So that way, we have eliminated this disk IO bottleneck. Okay, that is why SAP HANA is very important, or SAP HANA is thriving in the market today. Okay, one more reason why SAP HANA is the forefront or forerunner in this particular database market. The reason is this. So any application will have different layers. Application server, okay, application server, a front end or GUI, graphical user interface, or application server, and a database, which is mandatory, right? This is mandatory. The applications, the front end or user who is using the GUI sends a request to the application server, and the application server sends that request to the database. Okay, so for example, let us say we have to perform, the request is for A plus B. A plus B. Simple example I'm taking. Okay, simple example, the GUI sends a request for A plus B, where A and B are data stored somewhere here in the database. A is stored in this particular location and B is stored in this particular location. Okay, so now when the application sends a request for A plus B, this particular request comes to the database, and database sends A here and B also here. Okay, the request is sent down to the database for A plus B. A plus B request is sent to the database, and the database sends that data A here and sends the data B to this particular application server. That application server gets the data from the database, and then an algorithm within the SAP application server, it performs A plus B. Okay, the result of A plus B is sent back to the GUI, and if this data has to be saved, then the result of this particular operation is also pushed back to the database, A plus B. Okay, so this particular operation, A plus B equal to C, simple operation, needs the retrieval of the data from the database. Okay, retrieval of that data from the database, and operations or algorithms operating on the data within the application server. This is the general process, standard process these days. But what HANA does is, HANA does not retrieve the data to the application server. It pushes the operation to the database. What does that mean? That means same scenario, imagine with HANA database. Okay, now we have the same scenario, but database is HANA. Okay, so we have an applications layer, application server or application layer. All right, and we have the GUI. Okay, GUI sends a request to the application server for same information, A plus B. I want A plus B. Okay, now what HANA does is, what the application does is, when the database is HANA, okay, it pushes the operation or algorithm to the database. Push the algorithm to the database. Okay, algorithm to the database. Here the data is stored here in this particular database. Let's say we have A here, we have B here. Okay, so this algorithm does A plus B, right? This algorithm is pushed to the database. So this algorithm performs A plus B in the database and sends back the result. Okay, and saves the result here itself and sends back the result, and this particular result is sent back to the GI. If you observe, the data retrieval and saving process is simplified. It does not retrieve the data. The application server does not retrieve the data from the database into its space and perform the calculation. Instead, calculation is pushed to the database. Calculation happens in the database, and only the result is sent to the application server. So, if the data amount this particular operation that I said is very small, like plus A plus B, which is very small operation. But imagine a complex operation on huge volume of data. Okay, huge volume of data have to be retrieved from database into the application layer, application server, perform that particular algorithm, and then pushed back, right? And pushed up to the GUI also. Here in this case, the complex algorithm is pushed down to the database. So the database is capable of handling these algorithms and calculations, complex calculations. So the data retrieval or the communication the data communication resources over the channel reduces. This improves the operations or the performance of the system interaction with the database drastically. So application layer and data layer. So the application, like in today's world, the applications retrieve the data into the application layer and perform the application. And here the calculations are pushed down to the data layer or database layer. That is the beauty of SAP HANA. Okay, this is just another slide which will show you the traditional approach to HANA approach. Here there is data here below this in this database. Okay, so the user the request basically pulls whatever the data is requested here and operates. This is the application server, whereas this is the database. But in this particular scenario, the HANA database, when the database is HANA, right, the operation itself is pushed down to the database. So you go down here, it's a beautiful pictorial representation of what is happening. So you go down here, do the calculations and bring the data back. And don't bring data in chunk as and when necessary. Push the operations down. Okay, so that is the main purpose of SAP HANA. This again shows you because of blades and the way the hardware is manufactured. Basically the hardware innovations help a lot in parallel processing also. Okay, in parallel processing, the different years data is stored in different blade. That way, while accessing the data, based on the year of the data that is requested, you go and hit only one particular blade. It will not hit the other blade. Okay, so these are some of the reasons why SAP HANA is very, very high performance, effective solution today in today's world applications. Okay, hardware innovations, software innovations. Okay, in SAP world, I don't know if you can see this particular screen in SAP world. Okay, let me maximize this. Okay, it's not happening. In SAP world, okay, there is one transaction called BA05, okay, which is a report that shows sales orders for a particular customer or based on different criteria. Okay, so in an environment like in a test environment, it was seen that to fetch so many records in a traditional database, it took 14 minutes to get the partial results. Okay, this is a huge data that we are retrieving using the VA05 transaction. Okay, a transaction that took 14 minutes to retrieve partial results on a traditional database came back in 12.671 seconds on HANA database. Okay, that is the kind of difference that we are talking about here. Huge difference, 14 minutes to 12 seconds, right? The customer will be very happy when he sees this kind of performance based on HANA. Okay, and another example here, another transaction, another report which produces, which retrieves manufacturing information, which took 7.5 minutes for partial results, could complete in 1.25 seconds. Okay, so that is why SAP HANA is very, very effective in today's world. All right, and on top of that, you save the data once and you look at the data in different formats, in different views. A view is a different look at the data. So you save the data only once and you look at the data in different ways, in multiple times, in multiple angles. That is the concept of SAP HANA. Save the data once, show the data the way the customer wants to see it. Okay, so that is SAP HANA. And one more thing is, in traditional architecture of SAP, as I showed you here, GUI, application server, database, right? GUI, application server, and database. So today's world, when SAP HANA comes into picture, SAP HANA client can directly connect to the HANA database. Okay, meaning there is a tool called HANA Studio. I don't know if you guys have used HANA Studio. There is a tool called HANA Studio which can directly connect to the HANA database. Okay, so we are eliminating one layer here. So the security handled by the database. So the security data is more secure in HANA database compared to any other database, because here in this traditional approach, the security is handled by the application server, not the database. Okay, and one more layer of is here, the application server layer. Okay, that handles the security, so there is no security at the database. If someone by chance gets an entry into the database, they can screw up the database, right? Whereas here, the data security is handled by SAP HANA database itself. Okay, so it is more secure that way. Okay. Now, let us see some of the implementation scenarios. SAP roadmap, SAP HANA roadmap. So today, SAP HANA can be implemented in different ways, like SAP ECC system on HANA database. This is one sort of implementation. Okay, one sort of implementation, and this type of implementation is called Suite on HANA or native HANA implementation. Okay, the second type of implementation is called SAP BW on HANA database. Okay, SAP BW on HANA database. This is called BW on HANA. Okay, and the third type of implementation is called Enterprise HANA. Enterprise HANA. Okay, so Enterprise HANA is one database for all. Okay, we have SAP ECC and SAP BW. Any other application. All these applications can sit on the same database, one database. But the database will be partitioned. The database will be partitioned. It acts as two different databases, but it is one single piece of hardware. Okay, this is called Enterprise HANA scenario. So these are the three different types of SAP HANA implementations: SAP native HANA, BW on HANA, and Enterprise HANA. Okay, what is the future? What is the future of HANA? The future target by SAP HANA is one database for all. Future is one database for all. Okay, meaning here in today's world, when we say Enterprise HANA, we have HANA database and we have ECC application and BW application. Even though they are sitting on the same database, there is a partition. So the ECC part cannot look at the BW part, BW part, cannot look at the ECC part, right? So the SAP's roadmap or future is one database, meaning ECC also works on the same database, BW also works on the same database. Okay, in this case, if you observe, the BW system goes away. There is no necessity for BW system at all. Only one system can use as transactional system, as well as another system, which is BW system, is required only from performance perspective. Then you can have that BW system looking at the same database, no partitions. Okay, that is probably going to happen when SAP comes up with HANA 2.0. Currently, SAP is in HANA 1.0 version, support pack 11. They have released support pack 11 recently in November. Okay, but this is their future plan. Okay, so this depicts the same thing, like, you know, ERP system on a HANA database. Okay, BI system on a HANA database. Now it is going to planned is one SAP HANA system for all systems, all applications. One HANA database for all applications. Okay, that is the future. All right. So I will not go in detail about the architecture right now because it will be too early, and you know, you guys will not understand. But I put this slide here so that you guys can understand that SAP HANA database, along with the main memory storage, there's so many other engines like SQL processor, stored procedure processor, planning engine, MDX engine, calculation engine. So when I told you a couple of slides above that the application, the logic is pushed to the database layer, right? Database layer. This is what I mean. The algorithms are built into these engines, okay? And the operations on data happens in the database itself. That is why SAP HANA is very fast. Okay. So success stories, I'm not going to go in detail about it. So what are we going to cover in this particular training course? Right? That will be a question pretty much everyone asks me in the demo sessions, in all my demo sessions. What are we going to cover? Right? So there are three different areas that I'm going to cover here. Okay, when we have a HANA database, okay, we have three different views of this HANA database. Operations. Okay, so one operation is data provisioning. Data provisioning, okay, meaning loading data, bringing data into SAP HANA database. Okay, once we bring the data into HANA database, the next operations that we do is information modeling. Right? Information modeling. So this is what I said. We create different views on data. We create different views like attribute view, analytic view, calculation view, different views in the database. Okay, and then last but not the least, information retrieval or reporting. Okay, so we are going to look at these three different angles: data provisioning, information modeling, and then reporting. Okay, definitely I'm going to, obviously these are main things that I'm going to cover, and there are other topics that I'll be covering as security or user and security, okay, and then what do you call it? Transport mechanism. Okay, transport mechanisms in a project. Okay, so many other topics are there, which are definitely mentioned in our this thing. So basics of OLTP and OLAP in detail. What is HANA in memory applications? What is difference between HANA and BW? And what is SAP HANA? Reporting options, security options. Okay, and then if you come to Studio, HANA Studio, which is the tool that is used for modeling. Okay, so I will give a detailed introduction about HANA Studio, and then analytic view, attribute views, analytic calculation views, modeling consideration, joins. Okay, so all these things I'm going to cover. And then analytics, reporting layer. Okay, how do we report on HANA? So here we will talk about relational reporting, analytic reporting. Okay, ODBO interface. Okay, Webby reporting. So I'm going to give you introduction about all the interfaces that are available, business object interfaces. Okay, I'm not going to go in detail about business objects, but I'm going to give you interfaces where how they interface, how to retrieve the data using this particular tool and all those things. Okay, and then data provisioning, of course, and different topics. Migration of BW on HANA, which is a very, very important topic because these days lot of projects on BW and HANA migration. All right, so that is what I'm going to cover in this particular topic. This training will take roughly around 60 hours based on how you guys are able to receive the information that I provide. Okay, it's not like I give an assignment after every activity or every topic that I cover. Initially, for the first 1 or 2 classes, there may not be an assignment because it's going to be theory. And once I start, like data provisioning, for example, using data services or SLT, I'll start giving assignments. Okay, and a lot of assignments, and then a lot of what we call mini projects. I'll give you mini projects on Copal at the end of the class. Okay, so that's how I'll come to your question, Pradeep. So that is how this training is going to be structured. Okay, assignments, and Dinesh has already given you an information about the blog that we have using which we can interact and all this information. So I'm not going to go in detail about that. If you have any questions, you can post it on a blog and talk to Dinesh. He will be able to give more information on that. Okay, so now we will open up for questions, and I have a first question here by Pradeep. He's asking, what is S4 HANA? Are we covering HCP? Well, good question. Okay, good question. S4 HANA. S4 HANA. There are different ways of interpreting this S4. Okay, some people interestingly call this as suited for HANA. Suited for HANA. That is the common jovial way of putting this as for HANA. Or in reality, it means suite for HANA. Okay, suite for HANA. So what exactly does it mean? I told you here in one of my implementation scenarios, ECC system or application suite can be installed on SAP HANA, right? Or SAP BW can be installed on SAP HANA. So SAP transaction system installed or application suite installed on SAP HANA system is called suite on HANA implementation. Okay, suite on HANA implementation. So S4 HANA is nothing but S4 HANA is nothing but simplified version of suite on HANA or native HANA. Okay, so to be frank with you, technically it makes a lot of difference. There are so many indexes, there are so many shadow tables that were created in HANA or SAP application. Okay, there will be shadow tables, there will be internal tables that will be used for processing and all those things. So they have simplified those particular technical aspects of suite on HANA and called it as S4 HANA. Okay, and in S4 HANA, if you guys know, they have released Simple Finance. Okay, and they are coming up with simple sales. Okay, simple procurement. Okay, these are different products they are coming up with SAP HANA or S4 HANA, right? So as I say, as these names clearly say, these are simple or light applications. Okay, simplified or light applications. Okay, meaning the processing of data happens much faster because the technical footprint is light compared to any other version. Okay, so the approach is a traditional ECC system is sitting on traditional database. Okay, traditional database, and this traditional database is going to be converted to HANA database first. HANA database. This database is going to be migrated to HANA database, and this implementation is called SAP HANA. Okay, this particular migration or this particular implementation is now called SAP HANA, or I'll call it as SOH. Okay, and once the system is on SAP HANA, they migrate it to S4 HANA. They implement some packages and they migrate this to S4 HANA. So technically, when we move from SAP HANA to S4 HANA, you do not see any changes. All the tables will be intact. All the application level tables, data dictionary tables will be as is. Only thing is the technical footprint is simplified here. Okay, technical footprint is simplified. There are more than 1300 implementation of SAP S4 HANA Simple Finance already in the market. That is S4 HANA for you. Is that clear, Pradeep? And are we covering HCP? HCP, yes, to some extent, but not in detail. Okay, so we definitely will touch upon HCP and all those information, but they are not the main topics. Okay, Pradeep? Yeah. So, any other questions, guys? I'm done with whatever I have to say regarding the training and what we are going to cover, how it is going to be structured. In general, my training classes, I take 3 hours on an average on Saturday and Sunday morning. So it's going to be like 6 hours on a weekend, plus or minus a little bit, okay, depending upon my availability. It can extend to probably 4 hours, 4.5 hours at times, when there is a continuity. But if my students say that they are getting overloaded, then I'll immediately stop. I'll not proceed any further. So that way, I'll say on an average, I take 6 weeks to complete a training batch. Okay, plus or minus 2 weeks. Minus is very rare. Plus 2 weeks, I would say 8 weeks. I'm definitely gonna complete a training batch. 6 weeks is on a optimistic side. All right. Okay. Any questions? Feel free to ask any questions, guys. If you don't have any questions, I think we'll wrap up today's sessions. Dinesh, do you have anything that you want to add at this time?
Still, there is a question from Khalid.
Khalid.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see.
I have entered that.
Would you recommend any book? Okay. Khalid, what I would say is there are several books available, no doubt, from SAP Press, but I would not recommend any book for that matter. Dinesh might have briefed you guys that we are providing materials, training materials, right? So those training materials are much better compared to any book. The books Definitely, I've gone through a few books, but these training materials are much better than those books. They give a lot more information than any book that is available in SAP Press. Okay, so if you want, I can recommend books. You can buy books and go through them, but that is not necessary. In this training, we provide materials which is more than sufficient for you guys to even prepare for certification or prepare for market. Okay. Khalid is currently I'm reading one from SAP Press, SAP HANA Introduction. Well, Khalid, definitely Introduction to SAP HANA. You can go through the book. Definitely, that will give you more in terms of whatever I told you, right? Like what is HANA, why it is fast, and all those things, right? Hardware improvisation, software improvisations, implementation scenarios. Those are the things that will be covered mostly in that introduction book. But if you go into the training material, it will give you more technical knowledge, like what is it composed of, what is the architecture, how is it different from a traditional database. Okay, that gives you more information than that book. That's what I meant to say. Definitely, there is no problem, or I will not prohibit you, or I will not say that you should not be reading any book at all. You can if you want, but those books are really expensive. SAP Plus books are really expensive, and if you can buy them, go through them. Knowledge is divine, so definitely you can improve your knowledge by reading the books. But my recommendation, my recommendation is the material and the training course, that if you attend the training, my classes and the training booklet, then you can use the books as reference, books as additional knowledge. But main thing, or the main material for this particular HANA training will be the materials that we provide and the training course. Okay. How will you position BW on HANA? Yeah, no problem, Khalid. Janet is asking the question, how will you position BW on HANA once S4 HANA in the market in full swing? Very good question. Very good question. So everyone asks this question, okay? Everyone asks me this question, not necessarily S4 HANA. Think about Enterprise HANA. Enterprise HANA, where ECC and BW are sharing the same piece of hardware, same database, but they are partitioned, right? So people even now ask me, will BW go away? That is a big question that is in everyone's mind. Will BW system go away? What is the future of SAP BW system, right? But think of it this way. No matter whether SAP S4 HANA becomes it's a full-fledged implementation in all the organizations that have SAP or not. Let us say SAP transaction system has a limitation because of the application server also, right? If the application server is not able to handle that kind of information that is provided by the HANA database, then application server will fail, right? So it is always advisable. SAP otherwise would not have recommended BW on HANA. So it is always advisable that BW system is kept separate from organization standpoint of view. Okay, and as a customer who has implemented BW for the last 7 to 10 years will not be able to move away from that particular system in the near future. Okay, so and SAP is not just proposing S4 HANA. SAP even today they are proposing BW on HANA for clients. Okay, so BW on HANA is not going to go away, or it's not going to shade away just because of S4 HANA. It's going to be in the market, thriving in the market for the next at least 10 years. That's what my feeling is. Okay, Janet. So definitely there is a competition. SAP has to, sell S4 HANA and BW on HANA. They're selling both of them. They aggressively. So definitely I see a lot of implementations of BW on HANA, new BW on HANA, BW on HANA migration. So the BW system is not going to go away that soon. Maybe after 10 years, when S4 HANA is stabilized, like it takes time, obviously, another 10 years. Suite on HANA also took quite some time to stabilize. Now S4 HANA, they have released only simple finance. They have to come up with different modules, so it's going to take some time. Okay, so it's not going to, SAP BW on HANA is going to stay in the market for another 10 to 15 years, as I can see. All right. Sure, Khalid. Definitely contact Dinesh for the class structure and class timings. Very nice having you here. Have a nice evening. Okay. Yeah, that's Janet. I hope I answered your question. Right? Janet, sorry. I hope I answered your question on BW and HANA and S4 HANA placements. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you, Khalid. Janet, however, HANA is still relevant. Janet, can you please speak up so that we can have a discussion, because this seems to be kind of, you seem to have a lot of information and
my concern is that once the S4 HANA coming out with the different simple finance, logistics, and everything.
Correct.
Then the HANA, the HANA still, we need HANA in this form really, or we have to make some other modifications in HANA platform or something?
No. See, the thing is, HANA database is the same. HANA hardware is the same. HANA software, HANA architecture is going to be the same. Only the application table structures. Like, for example, I'll give you a simple example, okay?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So a table, let's say VBAK or VBAP table, right? That will have on HANA, on ECC, on Suite on HANA implementation, that will have some indexes created, right? Some indexes. Indexing is necessary in that scenario. But once it comes to Suite on S4 HANA, they will remove that index. Nothing else is changing. From application perspective, that index is removed, so the processing of data is faster. So only technicality is changing. The architecture is not changing. The way the tables are structured, for example, clustering of tables will go away. Okay, so clustering, there is a concept called cluster tables. Cluster tables will not be there in S4 HANA. Okay, so from an application perspective, other than speeding up the operations, speeding up or simplifying the technical aspects of how the tables were stored, application tables were stored, that changes. Apart from that, nothing else changes. The architecture remains the same. It will have the same calculation engine, planning engine. It will have, everything will be the same. The architecture will remain the same. Everything remains the same. But because they have improved it technically, it's going to be light. The performance is going to be fast. That's all it is.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Very good question there. All right. So feel free to ask any more questions. Otherwise, we'll wrap up today's session.